My boyfriend is upset that I ordered our favorite takeout while I was cat-sitting for a friend. Does he have a valid reason to be upset? I was cat-sitting for a friend for a few nights. She left me a skip the dishes gift card as a gift, since I stayed at her house for 3 days in a row. Got home tonight and was telling my boyfriend about my week and mentioned I ordered butter chicken with the gift card she left me. He got quite upset because it's his favorite takeout too, and he thinks it was rude of me to have ordered it without him. From my POV, butter chicken is my favorite meal, so why would I order something that I like less when I'm out of town and was given the gift card as a gift? I wasn't home with him, so why would it matter? From his POV, he thinks I would be upset if he ordered butter chicken without me. He thinks it's selfish of me to have done this. This all seems so silly to me, but he's so upset that he stormed off and we're sleeping separately tonight. I don't know why it had to become an argument in the first place. Am I missing something? Does anyone see this as rude and selfish? Where do some men get the audacity? T1. On a date with a guy, we are chatting, when out of the blue he interrupted me to tell me that I interrupted him and to let him finish his thought. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, as while I thought his phrasing was a bit rude, I might have misread the conversation, pause, flow. But then he proceeded to interrupt me multiple times afterward to just keep with his weird lecture-style talking. Needless to say, there was no second date. Where do some men get the audacity? PT2. Go on a coffee date with a different guy, and we go for a walk after. He asks if we can walk into a particular store, and admits it was because his ex works there. First date, and his only concern is showing off to an ex that he was dating someone else? No second date for you either, bud. Where do some men get the audacity? T3. Several dates in with yet another guy, so far things are going well. When the guy calls to tell me he has gone exclusive with someone else and needs to call things off with me, totally fine. I expect people will be casually dating around unless we explicitly discuss otherwise, and I appreciated the call. Until he followed up by asking if I would dog sit for his new girlfriend for 4 days over Christmas. No? What the heck? My pregnant girlfriend pulled a loaded gun with one in the chamber at me. Should I stay? Long story short, I went to get HEB groceries after our shower together. And when I'm about 10 minutes from home, I get a call from her which I didn't expect, because I hadn't been gone for that long, saying we need to talk immediately. I get home with the groceries, and she immediately grabs my arm and shoves me into the kitchen, then tells me to put it up and hurry the fuck up. Then after I do, she just keeps screaming at me to sit the fuck down, and after a lot of hesitation, because I'm kinda scared at this point, I sit down after she promises not to do anything dramatic or crazy. She comes around the corner with my own pistol I keep on the nightstand and my iPad. She had pulled up chats and threw the thing at me and began waving it at my face and pointing it at my chest, saying I want the truth. I'm terrified for my life and telling to put it away, but keeping my composure, knowing one small thing, and this can go so wrong. I see her finger on the trigger, and after much convincing and begging, she goes and puts it up. Eventually, after I tell her all the truth she wanted to know, i.e., I came to her for months about how I don't feel like I love her anymore, and that I want to fix the connection along with becoming more close to her. She would just roll over and go to sleep after shutting me down. I never felt safe telling her anything or trying new things around her because she would make me feel so fucking stupid like my dad would as a kid. That every time she left, either to go to her parents or the farm, that I was so happy. And I would do all the things I've been needing to do. Now after all that, I know she's 2 months pregnant, and we went half and half on a dog plus sofa. I just don't know what I should do considering the above, and that I think I still love her. It's just the moment I cocked the gun back and heard the bullet fall to the ground. I was paralyzed, staring at it now, knowing that when she said I would never actually do it, and then later I was just playing with it, I didn't know was all and is all bullshit. I had just got done playing with my cat using the laser light on the gun, and one lil thing today could have killed not only me but her, the unborn kid, or my cat. Please be brutally honest with me. I know cheating is fucked up. I just felt trapped and nothing was changing after coming to her over and over again. Thank you. I read my daughter's journal and found out something awful. Is there anything I can do? My 18-year-old daughter recently moved out to live on her own, as my husband and I were cleaning out her room so our son 16 could have her room. He shared one with his 13-year-old brother. I stumbled upon some journals stashed away in my daughter's closet. I know I have no business reading them. But I found out that from the ages of 14, 17, she was being groomed and raped by one of my husband's closest friends, 44 mem. I am disgusted. His friend passed away last year. My daughter hasn't talked to me about this. She talks to me about everything, but she hasn't mentioned this. She will call me 1,000,000 times a day to tell me how her day is going. Ask about mine. We have such a great relationship. I wish she would have told me. I would have helped her. We all trusted this man. We had even let him live with us for a while after he fell on hard times, around the time of the journal entries, so I wonder if this was going on under my own fucking roof. Right under our noses. I haven't told my husband yet. What do I do? Is there anything I can do? Should I talk to her? I want to kill him, but he's already dead. I am so sorry to my daughter, I feel like I failed her. So I talked to my husband about it. Just as I thought, he was pissed. He's very hurt. We have taken everyone's advice carefully, so for the time being, I'm going to get a therapist for myself. I am heartbroken. I know I crossed a boundary invading my daughter's privacy. I am not going to bring this up to her. Instead, wait for her to come to me, if she ever chooses to. That's all I can do. This is obviously something she doesn't want to share with me. There's nothing we can do. He overdosed and died anyway. I am glad. I am so sad this happened to my baby. Thank you, everyone. How do I deal with my boyfriend's creepy dad? Hi, everyone. I've tried to find people on this subreddit with similar experiences, but I've had no luck, so I figured I would create my own post and see if anyone had any advice. So I have been dating my boyfriend for the past 7 years. It's been a good and healthy relationship, except the fact that I feel extremely uncomfortable around his family. His mom and brother are quiet, and we don't talk much. However, his dad has been an issue throughout our relationship. I guess to give some context, my boyfriend's dad is not a good person. According to my boyfriend, his dad has admitted to being a delinquent all his life. He's stolen from friends and family, has done a ridiculous amount of drugs, driven drunk and nearly killed himself in a car crash and more. In recent years, he's been verbally abusive towards his wife and kids, has a bad temper, and is aggressive and offensive to anyone who doesn't agree with his opinions. All of this hasn't really affected me other than seeing bits and pieces of his behavior when I'm at their home, but I can't do anything aside from ignoring it. However, in the last 3 years or so, I've started to feel uncomfortable with the jokes or comments he makes towards myself or in general about women. Just to name a few instances, he was pissed off at his wife about something insignificant, and when it was just me and him alone in the living room, he said, "If only I were younger, I'd get with someone like you." Or the many times I've caught him looking at me up and down for too long and calling me pretty. Recently, he started taking pictures of family members, which sounds innocent enough. Except that he always finds a way to take photos of me alone, or his younger son's girlfriends, which he chose to print and frame for himself. Then he picks up the photo every once in a while and says, "I don't want to sound like a creepy old man, but these girls are gorgeous." I don't want to sound crazy or dramatic, but there have been several instances where I felt extremely uncomfortable by how he looks at me. I can't even explain it properly. This extends to my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, as well as other younger women who are considered family friends. He makes constant remarks about their bodies and how they look, and then goes on to compare his wife to us and says she doesn't look as good as we do. Recently, there was a conversation that took place about a new movie with an attractive female celebrity, and he interrupted by saying that she has a fat ass, she's sexy, and that she's all over his Facebook feed and he loves looking at her in front of his wife and kids. Anytime anyone calls him out on his language or behavior, he jumps to the "I'm joking" excuse when we know he isn't. Just to add, he also makes it a point to embarrass both his sons on their appearance and says that we as their girlfriends are out of their leagues. My boyfriends can't do anything about it because if he does, his dad explodes and gets angry, which causes the household atmosphere to shift into chaos for a long time afterwards. All I feel I can do is to avoid him as much as possible, but I still feel uncomfortable in their home when he's around. My partner won't stop lying to me and everything has become too much. My partner started lying to me from our very first date, lied about what he did for a living. The lies surfaced more when we reached 4 months of dating, and recently at 1 year, they have all come out. And he even lied to me just last night about his ability to pay rent. We have a lease together that we signed back in March, and he only admitted to all the lies at the beginning of this month. The lies include emotional infidelity, money management, porn viewing. Only a big deal because he would brag about how he refused to watch porn but apparently was in fact watching porn. His religion. Said he wasn't religious but he is, which is fine, but lying isn't cool, etc. I made the decision to forgive him at that time and continue with the moving process, and we moved into the apartment only 4 days ago. He cannot afford rent on his own, at all, and frankly neither can I unless I scraped and got another job. Last night I told him I just wanted to be roommates after he was unwilling to understand the concept of emotional loyalty to your partner. Another lie he had told was that he didn't DM a girl I was suspicious about when he had. She had touched him inappropriately at a party, and I cut her off for it. He didn't touch her. After she told me I was insecure for caring that she touched him. She light grazed his arm and was holding his hand. It was weird. But he DM'd her saying she did nothing wrong and essentially put our relationship down. And he also hasn't stopped lying. He said he would have rent on time and he's already late for our first payment, half of which I have already covered. Last night he screamed at me because I asked him to turn the AC off in the living room and just open the windows because he's not paying for living here yet, and until he is, we need to use the utilities minimally because I can't afford to run the AC all day when the apartment has like 20 windows. We both called each other names, which is awful. I shouldn't have done that, and I apologized to him at the very end of the night, which was 3 a.m. for us. But he threatened to hurt himself if I didn't hug him, and I had to physically restrain him from hurting himself. I almost had to call an ambulance because he was threatening to hurt himself, but finally said that he wouldn't once I hugged him. I told him to sleep on the couch, but he still insisted on being in the bedroom with me. He pounded on the bedroom door for me to let him in, and I finally did, in tears. I have kicked him out probably 4 to 5 times during the length of our relationship when we lived in the apartment that was in my name. Either for screaming at me, calling me names, or lying to me. I thought that maybe this time we could make it work. He can't afford rent on his own. I don't want this relationship anymore. I don't know what to do. I want to leave and I might have a friend who is looking for a roommate. But I don't know how to file for domestic violence and I also do care about him. And I know he can't afford the place on his own, and he would have to file for bankruptcy or something to get out of the lease. I am a mess. TLDR. I am done with the relationship I was in, but I don't know how to leave my partner or how to handle the lease situation where neither of us can afford the rent on our own.